quick update on some projects. So we're going for attempt number 3 on this Sunfire. I'm going to get the gap downs to this particular version, mostly because it has the bolt on the back. And I will give you the specs on that. I'll do like a little audio guts post. So here on YouTube. I also started an account on Instagram for that, and then also I figured out that I can just use the blog for now. If you go to, I think it's Blogspot Robot Underground, I can use that as my as a place for not only the audio guts links, mostly because it allows for hyperlinks, but also for so hyperlinks for audio guts, also for sourcing parts, and then also for like what we have here available for sale, and information related to it. So the description box is getting it's got a 5,000 character limit on here on YouTube, and it's full, and I'm having to edit all kinds of stuff, even with URL shorteners. So I'm going to go to put a link now that says like all links, and instead of doing like Linktree or something like that, because I don't really like those services. I think they're, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, just go to the blog. It'll bring some more life back to the blog, a place where, again, it's not that it's because I grew up in the 90s and I love HTML. It's not that. It's just that HTML is super simple and works with all phones and is very easy to use and very compact. I don't like websites, especially, number one, I don't like websites that you're going to shop and they do a lot of pop-ups. Like any of the brands, the Me Too brands like Scar, who else? Scar, CT Sounds, Down for Sound, any of that stuff, they throw a pop-up in your face and they're like, you need to sign up for blah, blah, like fucking go away. One of the problems that I don't like with the Recoil website is that when I go to click on the picture, sometimes it's like, oh, you've hearted this. I'm like, no, I don't want to heart the picture. I don't want to heart this and put it on my wish list. Like if I want something, I just fucking buy it. I want to click on the link so that I can get some more information. And you'll also notice that whoever is in charge of the website thinks that you can use keywords in the URLs to get more SEO, and it's like, that's way old. So the best SEO is just networking, which is what I've done, and which is why all the results for Robot Underground are organic over 20, 30 years worth of work. So, but I wanted to go over this. That's some housekeeping stuff that I wanted to talk about, but I'll put a link. It'll be one of the, I think it'll be the third link in on the description to go to the blog. And then I'll set a separate blog page, one for audio guts, and then also one for like what's current, what's for sale, what's available, and things like that. That way you guys can have pictures and all that kind of stuff. And I think I'll probably use a third party then to host the pictures as well, like the old days of the internet. But again, it's hard to find somebody that will host pictures. But I don't know, maybe I'll do something that sort of brings the SEO back around. You can host pictures in the, well, you're not hosting them, but you can post them on the Google reviews site. They are constantly encouraging you to, hey, post pictures. Sorry, there was something else that came up, but they encourage me to post pictures so that they go, hey, let's let everybody know what you're doing. And the only thing I don't like about that is that they don't really have exceptions for how you use that website. It's commerce. It's meant for commerce. It's not that it's commerce-based, it's just meant for commerce, even though Robot Underground is a not-for-profit outreach program for the Church of Zealotology. So, but either way, we're just going to use the tools that we have for now until Google or some other large entity, overlord, helps us do what we really want to do. So, which is really an HTML-based site. But enough of that. Somebody had wanted a big 15-inch sub. I don't know if they flaked or whatever, but I have this one available for $300 shipped. I can make it dual 2 or dual 4. Just let me know what you want. And then, yes. So, oh, I forgot the turtle jizz. So, this is what we call turtle jizz. This we used to get at the dollar store. I bought like 2 cases of it back when it was $1, right, before COVID. And it works great. There's no scent to it. The reason why we call it turtle jizz is because we used to buy the turtle wax equivalent until Turtle Wax changed their formula in order to, like, I don't know, cater or pander to young men that like the smell of musk. So it ruined it for me. And for that stuff, I used to pay almost $4 per bottle. This stuff is $1 and does basically the same job. And then once we finally go through this stash that we have, they reintroduced the product in a 24 ounce, a smaller bottle. I think it's 24 ounce or 16 ounce for this, but for $1.25. So either way, it's still a good deal. And this is what we call turtle jizz. And so sometimes we're getting stuff ready to ship, and we'll say, hey, jizz that up, or turtle jizz that up. And so let me turtle jizz this cone. Here's the before, and here it is after. You know, I mean, I want everybody to have a job, but jerking off turtles in a factory in Mexico, I don't know if that's the best job. But this is the Pioneer SPL monster that is highly coveted. SPL Champion Edition. This is the same driver that Scott Owens used to be in his pick-em-up truck. I think it was the F-150. It was either quad cab or extended cab. And then it had a shell on the back. And he did... I think he did, he did 13 in a sealed box, in sealed boxes, and broke the world record. And I don't know if he broke 180 with that one. And then he redid the whole thing, and I think he was able to strap 2 3Ks to one another per subwoofer, and did 8 of them in ported boxes, and then just blew that score away. But Scott Owens was the first one to break 180 in competition, and this is the woofer that did it. So the spider spacer thing came up unglued, was flopping around. Why? I would love to hear from the Pioneer engineer that designed this, why they put the bolt holes to, I don't know, like, I guess you're supposed to push this, like, that seems like such a dangerous way to, like, puncture your, you know, I think these were like $800 each. Your very expensive subwoofer that is very heavy and difficult to put in mounting horizontal because the magnet is so heavy. But as far as subwoofers go, it's pretty good. What I've done on these, because I think the 12 uses a 3-inch coil, and then I think the 15 uses a 3.5-inch coil, which is a little weird, especially back when these were in the early to mid 2000s. But, to fix that problem, I just jizzed a bunch of CA in there and then clamped it, and it fixed it. It's fine. Make sure, test for rub, no rub. The surround, one of the first things they did to kind of really make this thing great. Number one, they tooled in the name into the tooling, which is great. But what this is a reinforced, I think it's Sanaprene. It's reinforced with like kite string twine. To make it very, very strong, but it's also still flexible. So that way the back pressure, front pressure, however you want to call it, would not cause this to flex, or it would cause it to flex less. It would be not susceptible to that. Very strong polycone. Feels like it's reinforced with 2 pieces in the back. Not sure if you can see it. And then one of the limiting factors I thought was that they only used an 8.5-inch spider, but again, it was for SPL, and those are 2 soft spiders. Did you hear that? 2 soft spiders. Yes, your subs will actually do better with softer suspension than stiffer suspension. I don't know what to tell you. The whole idea of the woofer is to move, but I guess guys like to really abuse them. They did do the stupid vent holes, and I'm not a fan of this type of lead, but whatever. It's a way to get away with cheap spiders. And then I'm not a fan of the termination. I still think they should have done spring, because what ends up happening is what this guy did. This is Chris Vargas, by the way. He put connectors on there. You end up having a splice, because eventually it gets short, because every time you use it. You have to cut new wire because you want good fresh wire. And then he went ahead and put these pretty spring terminals on there, or ring terminals on there. So good job for him. I'll probably put some boots on there for him. But as you can see, it's got this big heavy top plate, which is great and everything. But in order to sort of get rid of this and put it on a TI frame, I think what I've done before is you have to take the frame off, which is through the bottom screws. And then the motor comes out the top. And then this looks like a big giant robot penis with a mushroom tip because it overhangs the magnets, so it looks kind of funny outside of this frame. And then I did one, I think at least two. I can't remember if I had to drill and tap for the TI frame. And then I still kept this part, the spider adapter, because it allows me to know where to drill the holes on the TI frame. When somebody does the same conversion, I can do a removable top assembly with any size of the TI frame. So, including 8, even though I don't really, or I'm sorry, including 10, even though I don't recommend the 10. I only recommend 12 and larger for this fucker. But other than that, I mean, some of the stuff like the gap venting was pretty revolutionary back then. And, you know, having the deep pockets of Pioneer, they were able to, you know, do a lot of R&D on this to figure out what's the most efficient and effective way, not only to build the woofer, but to extract money out of the bass heads. So, but there was a lot of these sold, but again, the market that these are sold into is very abusive, and typically the owners are irresponsible. At least the competitors that want to be, you know, like top dog in their area, and they don't have enough money to really support, you know, like a team effort. So even a small shop like what Scott had, which I think was called, I forget, something cutting edge car audio. I can't remember now. You can ask him, but damn it, now it's going to stay in my brain. But you know, he was sponsored. He got a bunch of these, and then anytime you get real sponsored, a real sponsorship is where you're pouring, you know, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 into the vehicle, and then you get sponsored by companies that give you free stuff in order to promote their brand, and you always have spares and things like that. It's a very expensive thing, and that's one of the reasons why nobody really does a real sponsored demo vehicle anymore. And in fact, even Rockford was one of the first companies to start outsourcing that to somebody else, and then that would allow whoever built it to sort of promote their brand or their shop. So like here in town, Streamline did, that's my buddy Rock, who was on 90 Day Fiance. He, J-Rock, he, with his gorgeous wife that he's still with, which is hilarious. She's very beautiful, but he worked on the team for Streamline, and Streamline did Alma Gates Bronco here. And there's, you know, I haven't seen a documentary. If anybody could send me a link to a documentary that anybody did on the Alma Gates thing. I'm not sure if anybody did a documentary on Alma before she passed away, but I think that's some interesting car audio lore that would be good for the community to learn about. Also, if anybody has any footage of Scott Owens and the work that he did back in 2006 and the early 2000s for his demo vehicle, that would be great. I think that was it. I'd love to, I'd love to, if you can, find them on, well, actually it doesn't matter. So, because you can download clips now from YouTube and from TikTok pretty easy. I haven't figured out how to do Instagram yet, but I will. That way you can cut them up and make a compilation and then post it, especially on a channel like mine, on robots, whatever, where I don't have to ask for licensing or ask permission because it's all fair use, because we don't monetize. So we don't monetize the views. There's other ways to do that, so that way you don't have to take their stupid rules, BlackRock Vanguard's rules about censorship and shit like that. But Chris gave me the okay to do like a little video on his. You know what? Let's see what the TSPs are real quick. Well, I'm getting the jitters. We got up at like 6 this morning again. Yesterday I was up at 5. And then we go down to Chase's Diner because neither one of us wants to make breakfast, and we're down there with all the other Vietnam vet boomer guys that do it every day. So, but this thing has risers on the or feet, or however you want to call it, on the bottom of the frame, so we don't have to tip it up. We will do the FS, the freeze measurement sweep. FS is 31, which is 30.95, which is quite low for an SPL sub. Again, and I did this with we did this with Chauncey Brown's vehicle as well. We did some of it was the 3 HP knockoff from Concept after we did the Concept acquisition. And I said, dude, let me try, because he kept blowing the stiff suspension ones. I said, let me try a really floppy, soft suspension. And then we also did the quad coils where we wired them all in series to get maximum BL. And each sub ended up being 4 ohm single. And then we doubled up the leads so that that way they wouldn't burn up. And what do you know? He scored better. And it also sounded better for demos. So, but don't listen to me. I'm just some backyard masturbator. VAS is only 0.96. So this is basically equivalent to the GONZO Junior. So which I'm doing a 400 ounce. This is the 400 ounce lower to base motor. Somebody was asking about this, and I'm like, I'll fucking build it in the spare time. QTS is under 0.5, so it's fine and sealed or ported, which is why Scott probably did sealed first, and then that he thought maybe more cone area would do the trick. Turns out you get more efficiency with the ported box, and so he was able to actually beat the old score with less woofers in larger ported boxes. So I'm going to see if I can do some research. Maybe I'll email him to ask. Guys like that remember all those facts typically, because he was basing his career on it, and so he was able to parlay that into where he's doing stuff now at the Sine Asylum Motorsports. I'll give a shout out to that shop. If you like motorcycles and you're here in the East Valley, he's the guy to go to. But let me see, get a close up of that. You get to see the Q on the peak. And that's my review for this is, these are great, but don't pay any more than about $250 for them. Just because it's an old woofer, and it's a pain in the butt. You can't get this part anymore, so then you have to go with like a Mega Roll or like a 5 Series, Johnny 5 Series cone, which is, again, is fine, but then you got this weird lip that you have to try to get it to work with. And then Pioneer did this thing where you have to, I assume that you're supposed to push this over. Oh, sorry. I assume that you're supposed to push this over so you can get access to the bolt. I don't understand that. Why they didn't make just the frame bigger, I don't know. But if someone could explain it, I'm going to go on the website into the archives and look at. Actually, you know what? We can do that now. All right. Sorry. Yeah, I had to eat something. I have the beatus. I have the diabetes, and sometimes my sugar crashes. Scott Owens was of Edge Audio, and it wasn't Phoenix. It was over there in Gilbert, which was like right next to Mesa, and then just north of Chandler. Anyways, they were selling them for $900 each. When I Googled Pioneer Electronics Scott Owens, this is what comes up. And then there's create a history of 2003 DB Drag. You can look at some of his stuff there. Oh, it was an F250. Let's see what opens up on the SSA. And then this is the TS-W5000 SPL, 2,000 watts nominal, which is, very conservative. It's good for probably about 3,000, especially on burps. Burps, you could do about double that, 6,000. Well, obviously Scott was doing like, I want to say six or 7,000. Update 2004, new world record 173. Yeah, this is old. So, because I think Scott broke it in 2006. He was the first one to do 180 dB, and Pioneer was really proud of that. So, and good for them. Good for them. I just, at that age and that time, I was just, some dickhead in his car or in his house building woofers, and fuck, man, I was so little back then. I had no idea. But anyways, I was overwhelmed with the price. Like, there's no way that I could afford that. There's no way I could tool anything up like that. There's no way I could build anything like that. Let's see the box recommendations. Let's see if, does it, there we go. Thanks, Adobe. There we go. They are in Spanish as well. Yeah, 3.5. Is that the 15 or the 12? TS-W5000 SPL. Was that? Is that what they? That looks like the 12. Yeah, 3.5 is quite a bit because the VAS is like 1 cubic foot. Yep, 30 centimeters or 300 millimeter. Yeah, and then I imagine they did dual 4. So yeah, he was probably running the coils in parallel for 2 ohm load and then bridging, strapping 2 of the amplifiers, I imagine, at 2 ohm, which would give 1 ohm on per amp. And I think at the time they weren't doing the, would it be under car? I couldn't find anything in the archive. For some reason, some websites use like, it's not Flash, but they use a different type of HTML that does not allow to be searched. So like when you do old searches on like Rockford Fosgate, they actually went back and changed a bunch of stuff so that you couldn't, again, it's so stupid. The new owners of Rockford Fosgate wanted control basically over the history of the company, which is, again, dumb. It's like the history of the company, Some rich people just like to rewrite history, I guess. So, but this is current amplifiers. We want old amplifiers. So hang on real quick. Let me Google something. I didn't want to bore you guys with a bunch of searching. Anyways, Kansas City, Missouri, October 15th, 2005. Competitor member Scott Owens of Team Edge Audio. It says Tempe. Again, he was over in Gilbert. I don't know, maybe he had another shop, but I don't know why they don't care about Gilbert. Gilbert's like, has been like voted the most safe town or city in America for like 10 years in a row. This is the old one. I don't think it talks about that's the subwoofer link. I tried to Google what he was using for amps, but again, maybe Scott just knows that. Because again, when they're doing these IASCA or USAC, whatever, there's the truck. There we go, there's the amps. So yeah, does anyone have info on this pick inside? So there's a better view of the thing off, and then you did all the, there you go. Oh no, that's a Rockford one. That's from Term Pro, which is Wayne Harris, which was the original ultimate, oh my God, what the fuck did you do to your car audio guy. Wayne did some badass shit, dude. He did that EPX2, and then he did Symmetry, which again was ahead of its time. I'd love to still see someone do a Symmetry with Class D stuff. You know, and a lot of the chips now, especially for power supplies and stuff like that, are much better. So, but again, I don't see anybody doing it. I'll let you poke around. You can just Google those things and search for it, but that's a lot of amplifiers. That's a spicy meatball. You can, again, look at it, and I'm just going off what I remember talking to Scott about, because when he came over and had me do, I think they were DB Drive Euphoria prototypes that he had, I don't know if I remember, he sourced, or I think he got them from DB Drive, and then he got parts, and I did the recons on them. They're like a Neo 8 that plays to, I don't want to say 30 hertz, but it was like 35. It's pretty low, especially for an 8, high-powered 8. And I got to chat him up a little bit. So, but not that I'm bragging. It's just those are the things that I've done. I also stuck my dick in a saguaro cactus. Am I proud of that? A little bit. little bit. That's a good thumbnail. All right, guys.